No, like seriously, like I wasn't reading Marvel.
Talking about Ennis, right?
Yeah, Ennis's run. Like I was saying, in my opinion, I think that's the best. I think that's the best like series over the past 10 years. Like just consistent series.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Garth Ennis fan and a huge Punisher fan, and I spent 10 years reading everything Garth Ennis touched that had the Punisher in it, and it's all ridiculously good.
Yeah, I mean, like he basically makes the character his own. You know?
Yeah, and it's like, and just when you thought he ran out of ideas with like the Marvel Knight stuff, and it's like, okay, trying to keep the Punisher on a PG-13 level is kind of a tough thing to do, and he managed to do it for about 3 or 4 years, and then they gave him the Max title, and now he could do the R-rated Punisher he's always wanted, so he does that for another 5 or 6 years, and
I just thought it was crazy for me is that like if you said any other person was going to do a story about the Punisher when he was 10 years old, you'd be like, that's stupid. Why would you do that? But like it was a compelling story, man. That was
Garth Ennis pulls it off.
Well, I mean, I just thought it was like it was a great like the whole thing about Bourne about they changed his motivation, so it's not like he's not just a normal guy who like his family gets killed and then he turns into a psychopath. It's he has these tendencies from birth basically, like he has this compulsion to punish the bad people.
Which is a great thing because it's not like they're like rewriting his history or retconning his history. They're simply like adding more substance to a character who is fairly one-dimensional.
Yeah, and I thought it was cool that like they don't make any bones about like he was a veteran of Vietnam. He's in his 60s right now. He killed like 2,000 people.
Yeah, thousands.
Yeah, but they actually like gave a figure. I thought it was cool that they did the one storyline where it's like New York's run out of competent mobsters. Right.
Yeah, when was that one? I'm trying to recall.
I don't know.
remember that one. Yeah,
one of the volumes
everyone's dead.
Yeah, everyone's dead.
Killing everybody.
And then the rest of them are just like, we give up. Like
yeah.
we're not doing this anymore.
And I have to say, like, two of the things that like you'd always just like were waiting for to happen, but they're kind of like, okay, this is when they run out of ideas. Is like Lady Punisher.
Yeah.
And like Punisher having a kid, and you're like, okay, when they give a superhero a kid, they're out of ideas.
But it worked.
But it worked beautifully. Like they created a female version of the Punisher. Not only did we accept her, we loved her. And when they killed her off, we were like, oh, what a tragedy, man.
Yeah, Widowmaker was definitely one of the best.
That was a great arc. And then when they gave him the kid, and I'm like, that's usually the kiss of death with anything. And they made it work with him somehow. Like, leave it to Garth Ennis to give the Punisher a kid and make it work.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely the best series. I would say, people were going back and forth about like what was like the top 10, like the best series of like the past decade. I really can't think of anything else like a consistent run of something that was as good as.
I could name a few other Garth Ennis books like Preacher.
Well, but Preacher, that wasn't in the past decade though. That was the 90s.
Okay, technically you're right. Yeah. I guess when did it end?
I think it ended in like 98 or 99.
I think it might have ended this side of the 2000s, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It was last decade.
It's now so long. Don't stop until